In this session, we are going to cover prompt engineering for AI agents or agentic systems. We will see how this prompt engineering is different from prompting the Gen AI models that we are already aware of. We will also use Gemini CLI to make apps for us hands-on. You will do it with me. And if time permits today, we will also see the general theory and conceptual understanding of how AI agents work. So with that, let's have a recap of what we already know. We saw yesterday that an AI agent is a piece of software which has an LLM as a central or core part of it. This LLM is generally a reasoning LLM, which is capable of understanding natural language descriptions, problems defined in a natural language. It is able to understand the problems, split those problems into sub-problems or sub-steps. Then it is able to invite or call tools. Using those tools, such as API calls, it is able to perform actions and get things done for us. What is special about these AI agents is that they are very dynamical, which means they are not forced to follow a particular sequence of actions every time, even for the same problem. The sequence of actions an agent takes may be different. In a way, an AI agent, a sufficiently smart AI agent, is a kind of simulation of a human being. So with that, I'm inviting you to an early quiz today. You should be able to join the quiz by scanning this QR code or going to slido.com and entering this number. Uh, can you see the quiz displayed for you?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm asking you to attempt this quiz based on the capabilities of an AI agent that we have discussed yesterday and have recapped today. An AI agent is capable of taking up a problem described in a natural language, understanding that problem, splitting that problem into sub-problems, sub-tasks, invoking tools, using memory, and then getting that task done for you. In this quiz, I'm asking you which of the tasks is not something you would give an AI agent to perform. So which of these is not a valid goal for an LLM-based AI agent? So have you completed? Have you completed the quiz? Has anyone completed the quiz?
Yeah, completed, ma'am.
So the The correct answer for this is to diagnose a medical condition with 100% accuracy based only on patient's description of symptoms in a natural language, right? This is not a good goal. This is not a good task you should set your AI agent to perform. Rest of these are almost doable things and they are not very high stakes tasks also. Resolve 90% of common queries in 2 minutes by understanding the problem, and responding to that in natural language, or create a tailored study schedule for somebody, using resources and everything, or produce a summary, or create a story or an ad. None of these is a high stakes situation, but diagnosing a medical condition is a high stakes problem. And you're asking for 100% accuracy based only on the description in natural language, which is something even a human doctor cannot do, should not do. Right, so that's the leaderboard. Uh, Danya has answered it very quickly in around 14 seconds. All right, so now we are diving into prompting AI agentic systems. Now, but before we look at prompting AI systems, we will look at context engineering. It's a relatively new term, and context engineering means managing what goes into the context window of an AI agent or AI agent's LLM. So here is what I mean by context window. I would request everyone to please mute yourself. So this is what an LLM's context window looks like. This is kind of a buffer or memory that an LLM can hold within itself. And within this buffer or within this memory, three types of information resides often. So these pieces of information include instructions, knowledge, and the tools. By instructions, I mean the system prompts and the user prompts and the previous memories and few short examples that you give as a part of user prompt, description of tools and everything. In knowledge, we can have RAG documents or access to some other documents that it is provided for grounding purpose. And finally, in tools means the definitions of tools in JSON format or XML format, which the programmer or the coder of the agent has made available to this tool. So all this information has to be available inside the context window of an LLM in order for it to generate correct action sequences and act correctly. Now, this context window often is like a buffer memory. It's very small in size, right? So we always want to make sure that the context window is optimized. The content that is available in the context window is always the best content, which enables LLM to take every action the best way it can. So here is an example of how a tool is defined inside an agent when an agent is coded. So here we have a tool which enables this agent to search the web, to invoke Google search or some other Bing search or something. Its name is web underscore search. It has the parameters query and query string, and the data type of that query string is string. It is a required parameter. It has a title, and it is an object. This is the description written in the form of JSON in the prompt of this particular AI agent. And when this tool is run, it may be converted into a Python function like this, def web search. It has a parameter query, and that query is of the type string, and then it has some dog strings, and then it returns the results of whatever it has fetched by calling the API of Google search and compiling those results, applying beautiful soup on them, or and so on. So this is huge, right? Though it's a very small function, very small tool, web search. It has many lines of code and it has many characters in it. So it occupies the token bandwidth inside the context window. Similarly, for example, there is Gmail accessing tool that is around 17,000 words in length. The tool which enables an AI agent to access your Gmail. What I want to say is that this context window gets filled very, very quickly before we realize it. Therefore, there's a need of engineering the context window, managing what goes inside the context window at any time. Here are the common sizes for context window of the models we are very aware of. GPT-4 can have up to 128K tokens, but it's not every time 128K. There can be anywhere around 32K to 128K. Then GPT 3.5 has only 16,000 tokens. The highest context window is for Gemini 1.5 Pro. It's around 1 million tokens at a time. And one token is around three-fourths of an English word. For example, there is a word development. This entire word is not a token. It may consist of two tokens, develop and ment. So this context window is actually defined by how many tokens in a sequence have been used during the pre-training of that transformer model, which is your LLM at a particular time. So let's come back to the definition, standard definition of context engineering. It is the steps you take to ensure that your context window is filled with just the right information at every step in agent's lifetime. This is important because whatever is in your context influences the response of your AI agent. The principle of garbage in, garbage out applies definitely, right? If your context is bad, the output is going to be bad. Now, when you have a very complicated problem given to an AI agent, which has many steps, which involves calling many tools, many functions, it has big documents that you have uploaded as RAG.
हेलो हाँ हाँ
Yes.
हाँ 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 नमस्ते हाँ नाही एक दूसरा कॉल चालू आहे ऍक्च्युली सो सस्पेक्टेड जंक कॉल बट एनिवे थोडं तुम्ही व्हॉट्सअपवर मेसेज करू शकता किंवा ईमेलवर आपण करायचं पण फोनवर काय होतं
Yeah. So if this context, if your problem is very big and complicated and has multiple steps, which the LLM requires to call many tools and access RAG resources, the context window gets full too early. It even overflows. The tokens available to you as a user explode, the costs and the costs you have to pay for, each token that you get or send to the LLM, and the response time increases, yet the performance decreases if you are not able to manage your context window well. So what do? We try to apply context engineering, and what are other problems that result because of long context? The very prominent four problems are context poisoning, context distraction, context confusion, and context clash. Context poisoning means a hallucination or incorrect information has entered the context, which makes the model try to achieve irrelevant things, irrelevant goals, or your context is so long that the model is now ignoring whatever it learned during its training, post training, or pre training, and it is entirely focusing on the context. Sometimes context confusion can result when you have useless information inside the context or irrelevant information. There are tools which are not relevant to the task you have given to your agent. So, context confusion. And the final situation is when there is a context clash, which means there is a tool inside your context which is doing X, and there is another tool in the context which is telling it to do not X, undo X. So, there is a conflict or a clash within the context itself. All of these problems uh, warrant for managing your context. So what can we do in order to manage our context window? We can use RAG only with the relevant information, only with the relevant documents. You should choose your tool definitions very carefully, which tools are required for the task that your agent is going to do, and define those tools very precisely without superfluous information, and isolate. Sometimes we can isolate context. If you have multiple LLMs in your agent, you can divide the context into separate threads, and each LLM can execute a different thread. You should audit your context often, remove whatever is irrelevant or unnecessary. Sometimes they also apply a summarization on the entire context window and just pass that summary, delete the previous content, and just use the summary of the context. And then if nothing else works, you can shift some content out of context window into an external file. This is done using a tool called Scratchpad. All of this is done in order to keep your context window optimal. And the aim of that is that you want your agent to perform optimally. take optimal actions and reach its goal well. A model context protocol, which we are going to see in detail tomorrow, is an attempt at doing this. It is an attempt at enabling your agents to interact with external tools, whether to access memory or to make API calls in a standard format. This is a protocol which standardizes agents' access of tools or RAG documents. Next, with this, we are going to have a quick demo of working with Gemini CLI coding agent. We will do this demo first and then see the prompt engineering for agents, because it will help us understand why we are separately studying prompt engineering for agentic systems. I hope you have installed CLI. Um, can we do a quick chat? Yes, if you have installed. How many of us have CLI? Yeah, great. So, great. Awesome. So what we have to do now, we have to create a new folder anywhere in your system. For example, I have created a new folder on my desktop, and this folder is called my app, or let's say my app 2. I suggest that you do the same. Yeah, of course, it is the best CLI agent for coding, free, trustworthy, and everything. You just create a new folder, preferably on desktop or wherever you are comfortable. Just create a new folder and let me know what you're calling your folder. I created a new folder on my desktop and I am calling it my app 2. Can you see this folder here? My app 2. This is an empty folder as of now. As I said, copy gemini.md into this folder. If you have not already done so. Once you have done it, open a command prompt and change directory into this folder. Have you done that? Create the folder my app 2 anywhere in your system. Copy gemini.md into this folder and then open a command prompt and cd to this folder. For example, my folder was called my app 2. It was on desktop, so I have entered into that folder. Once you have entered this, invoke Gemini CLI by typing the command Gemini and press enter. I hope you have already authenticated by choosing your Google account. If not, you will be asked to do now. I have already authenticated, so I don't need to do that step now. Are we at this page, everybody?
What is opening Visual Studio?
Visual Studio will be at the background. You don't need to directly open VS Code here. Gemini itself invokes the VS Code engine, coding engine to code for you, all of that.
When
You
I
don't
run
need
the
to.
command Gemini, right? So it's just opening the Visual Studio Code and opening the code there. I'm not getting the prompt that you're seeing.
Uh, did you install VS Code, sir?
Yes.
Did you install Node.js after that?
Node.js, I haven't installed
You will
Node.js.
need to install Node.js also. I suggest that you follow the steps that I have shared in the steps.txt file.
Okay, sure, sure.
All right. And then you will be at this point. Everyone, I mean, have some other people got the Gemini CLI interface open? Great. Yeah. So once you are here, you can ask it to make an app for you. For example, be, build me a tic-tac-toe app. Just this, build me a tic-tac-toe app. I'm not specifying anything. Press enter and see what it does, what it asks you next. This time that you are seeing elapsing is because it needs to access Gemini 2.5 Pro model through the cloud from Google Cloud. If your speed is slow, it will take more time. So it's asking me, should I create a spec for this task first? I'm telling it yes. I'm answering yes, which means it will first define what is required to solve this problem, to generate code for this problem. It will create a requirement specification document. So here it is asking you, I need to create a directory called scopes. Are you allowing me to execute the command mkdir? See, it's about to execute this command because it's affecting my local file system, right? It has to create a directory. You see the option in green, yes, allow once, there's a green dot next to it. You can use your arrow keys to go up and down. I'm choosing the second option, yes, allow always. So I'm pressing enter here, and now it has the permission to access my file system and create a new directory called scopes. That is okay. This error is fine. It doesn't cause us a problem. Now it's asking me, should I apply these changes? And you can see it in green, yes, allow once with the green dot. It is selected option. If you press enter, this option is accepted. You can use arrow keys to go up or down in the options provided. I'm selecting second option, yes, allow always. Once you have come to that option, press enter. So it's telling you, I have created a specifications file for our tic-tac-toe app. Let's break down the project. The purpose and the user problem is this. The user wants to play a classic game of tic-tac-toe. It's simple, fun game for two players, right? It's also explaining what are the success criteria, what constitutes a win, what is the constraint. It is a web-based app. It will use simple HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and it will be a two-player game, right, on the same computer. And there are technical considerations like it's a 3x3 board and all of that. It's out of scope. Something that it's not implementing is that there will be player playing against AI. So then it is telling me, does this capture your intent? Are any changes needed? Am I okay with this app that it will build? Suppose I'm not okay, I will tell it, or suppose I'm okay, I will tell it, okay, go ahead. If you are not okay, you have to tell it, like I am telling here, I want to play against AI. So it's a player versus a computer, right? It will update the specs based on my input. Got it. I'll update the specs to include an AI opponent. It is defining user requirements. It has updated the requirements, right? What is the criteria? Now what is out of scope? Multiplayer is out of scope. Different board sizes is out of scope, and difficulty levels is out of scope. And here is the revised specification. In the end, it is asking me, does this look good? If yes, press go. So I will press go, which means I'm okay with this description of my app. You can go and start building it, start coding it. So it's building. You can see the time
Madam,
elapsing. Yes, sir.
this you had this file gemini.md. So is it mandatory that whenever if I want to open
No,
the
it is
CLI?
not mandatory. It is not mandatory. Through this Gemini.md file, we have given Gemini a system prompt, a meta prompt. We are telling it should ask us first. If you do not have this file, then your Gemini app will go ahead and start building the app. In the first line, when I said build me a tic-tac-toe app, it will go and build the app. And then you will see the app and you'll feel, oh no, this is not what I wanted. And you'll have to come and tell it to no, do this, make it AI versus player, make it like this, make it like this. So a lot of reiterations will be required. But when I have given this Gemini.md file, it has given it a direction. It has asked the Gemini model to confirm with me, generate a specification and confirm with me before going and producing the code. We will look at the Gemini.md file also in a minute, right? Let's first see what it builds for us.
Sure.
Right? So have others also gotten to this state where the file index.html, or if you have coded a Python app, then Python file has been created. Have you got the message? I have created something for you. You can open it like this.
Yes, madam.
Great. This question by Ajit here on the chat window is, what does this mean out of scope for now? This is your AI asking you, according to requirement specification, what it is implementing and what it is not implementing. Out of scope means these features it is not implementing. Okay, it is not implementing AI versus computer. It is only you who are playing against yourself or two human players playing, right? But if you tell it, no, I want to play against the computer, it will update the specifications and start building the app with those features, right? Here, you will have to play with yourself or with other human player. The scores will not be displayed, leaderboards will not be created, board size will be fixed 3x3. There will not be dynamic board sizes, and you will not be able to play online with multiple players, right? That's what out of scope means. The next spec that model can develop after first iteration. Yeah, that also. Gemini CLI works in all OSs, in Mac, in Linux, in Windows. While applying changes, what happens when we allow always? It will be able to revert back. Yes, it will revert back, but those actions, you are giving it a license to apply those actions, right? On your computer, on your file system. Right? Have you been able to generate the final app? Have some of us been able to do this? So to me, it is saying I have created a basic HTML, CSS, JavaScript file for this tic-tac-toe game. You can open index.html in your browser to see the game. Now this index.html, it has created in my folder. My folder was called my app 2. See here, you can see an index.html file. It's a simple HTML file. Besides this, there is also a file called script.js and a style.css file. So this is a simple front-end application. Therefore, there is a JavaScript file. It's a dynamic application. There is a styling file called CSS. And it created a folder called scopes, inside which it has put this MD file, markdown file, which describes every feature of my app, every function it has implemented in the app. And there is Gemini.md file that we provided to it. We are going to see it in a minute. Let's first open this index.html file and see what my game looks like. You open yours and let's see. So this is tic-tac-toe. It is a 3x3 board. I click somewhere and it gives me an X, and then the computer plays its turn. It gives me an O. Then I put an X here and it puts its O here. Then I put an X here and I win. So it is telling you who wins. Player X wins, right? Similarly, if it's a draw situation, it will tell you that it's a draw. Right, so it's a complete tic-tac-toe game for AI versus a human being, and it gives you the decision also. Do you also get the same results? Has anyone created a Python app for this tic-tac-toe?
Yeah, previously created.
Yeah, so Python, you will have to run using
I have
Python.
created Python one.
Yeah, you will have to run that from this folder by typing the command Python, name of your file .py. Once you if you're getting too many configurations, you can tell it at some point, this is okay, now go ahead and build it. As in platform to select language to be typed, yeah, you can also tell it to build you an app in Python or in React.js. You can also choose your platform build, or you can also specify that you want a web app, a desktop app, a mobile app. You can also build complete end-to-end, yeah, full stack applications. You can also build very complicated applications. We have built a toy application here just to, touch common bases as a lowest common denominator. Is it safe to give make dir permissions? Yes, it is safe because this is residing on your local machine. Right. So have we seen Google CLI in action to create an app, a working app within few minutes, I think 2 minutes or 4 minutes. So this is the starting point. So how many of us have a working app? Please put a yes in chat box if you got a working app. Great. Awesome. Let's open Gemini.md and start exploring what's in that. This is a markdown file, and often Visual Studio Code has an extension to read markdown files. I have installed that, so my file is being opened with Visual Studio Code. You can open it with Notepad also, and that will be fine. Open your Gemini.md with Notepad. That should be fine. And let's see what is in Gemini.md. Can you see my screen here? One person needs to confirm that my Gemini.md window is being shared. Yeah. So in this, I'm telling it that the
Yes.
workflow of my apps should be specifications to code. First, it should generate the specifications and then it should generate the code. First phase, it should generate the requirements, which means when asked to implement any feature or make any change to existing code, always start by asking, should I create the specs for this task first? If you remember when you ran Gemini just now, it asked you, should I create a spec for this task first? Because we told it, we gave it a system prompt to do that. If you see that prompt here, if user agrees, this is double F, which means if and only if user agrees that you should create the specs first, then create a markdown file and create an MD for each feature name.md, interview the user for clarity, ask more questions to the user, to you and me, in order to understand what they want, what they don't want, which PL they want, which platform they want, ask for purpose and user problem, ask for success criteria, or generate them, right? What based on its training data, it understands what it means to win a tic-tac-toe game. So it has generated success criteria, scopes, and constraints for you, and whatever is out of scope. If you remember, it is all these things that our Gemini did for us when we asked it to generate a game for us. In phase two, you can review and refine the specs that you have generated. Once the user says okay, then you go ahead and implement, generate the code for this app, build the code based on specifications, and then update the specifications if user asks you some additional features or the scope changes. And all these things, the coding files that you generate will look like this, right? There will be a scopes folder. Inside this, there will be a feature name.md folder, a file which contains the description in markdown format of every feature that you implemented. All the things that you don't want to push to Git repository are in .local, and then there will be a file called experiment.md which contains entire markdown describing your app. Right. So this file I have obtained from this URL, and you can go to that URL and check the details about spec-driven development and all that. This is an example of a meta prompt or a system prompt which is given to agentic systems in order to drive their behavior, in order to nudge them to perform better. What is the fun of giving specifications or asking it to think and come upon the specifications? The benefit is that the code you get will be most probably correct the first time, right? Or you after a couple of iterations, you will not have to spend, 6 hours to generate a small code. That's the benefit of spec-driven development, or by writing your agentic prompts carefully and obtaining the desirable behavior as soon as you can from an agentic system. With that experience in our kitty, I'll move ahead to the slides where will we discuss how agentic prompt engineering differs from the normal prompt engineering that we do with GenAI models.
Ma'am, can you explain that Gemini.md we actually copied it, and how did all of this, now it has got all these prompts, no? How did it
So,
change?
yeah. So Gemini.md we copied in the project directory, isn't it?
Yeah.
When we are inside project directory and we invoke Gemini, we are telling Gemini that this is our project's workspace. And within project's workspace, if you find a Gemini.md file, you have to follow the instructions in this Gemini.md. And this instruction has already been given to it by the developers, by the Google developers who have created Gemini. This is user prompt kind of, right? There is a super prompt for Gemini, which is from its original developers. The developers have told it, you have to follow these instructions, but then if there is a Gemini.md file in the project folder of user, you have to follow that also. Did I answer your question?
Could you be more elaborate, ma'am? I didn't get you. Actually, we copied Gemini.md that is given by Google developer.
No, that is not given by Google, that we have created.
No, Gemini.md we copied it and kept it.
That I gave you, no,
First.
ma'am? That I shared
Yeah,
with you,
that's
isn't
what
it?
I'm asking.
Yeah, that file is the file that I created or someone else created who wants to use Gemini in a particular fashion.
Okay,
There
so
is
you
also,
created these prompts.
yes, ma'am. I wanted
That's
Gemini to produce code by asking the specs first, by generating the specs and asking confirmation from me first. So I asked it to do it like this, right? In addition to this local or our user Gemini.md, there is a super user Gemini.md, right, which has highest priority and none of the users can change it. That file is written by Google users.
Google.
If you are interested, that is written by Google developers. If you are interested in that, I've shared the GitHub repository of CLI, right, on the group. You go to that repository, there itself there is a file called Gemini.md. You open that and see how it is different from our file, right? There also is a file called prompts.ts that contains complete system prompt of Gemini.cli, right? That tells you what it has been instructed to do, what they have told it to do, how they have told it to behave, right?
Okay.
So, ma'am, can we customize this Gemini.md
You can,
file?
you can.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, you can
Yeah,
write whatever you
because
want in it. Yes.
okay. Because I
As long
copied
as
that
that
file
makes
from
sense.
the GitHub. It is behaving differently. That's why. Okay.
Yeah. The GitHub file is its original file, right? It is there by
Okay.
default. You don't have to copy
Yes.
it. This folder specific file is folder wise customization. Here we were building a game or an app, so we had this file. If you want to use CLI for some other task, then your MD may be something else. Your Gemini.md may contain something else.
Okay. So for multiple applications, we can have different
can be
MD files for each and
customized.
every application.
Yes,
Okay.
it can be customized based on application and the behavior you expect from the CLI.
Okay.
So the
Ma'am, I
programming
have
skill
wondered.
depend on writing this MD file, is it, ma'am?
Not programming skills. It requires you to understand your problem well and know what you want from the system. It requires a clear, logical, analytical mind. Now, the dependency on programming after these GenAI models has reduced a lot. Now, even people who are not, who have not studied even a single coding language can code because they know natural language well, right?
So we should know our problem domain and
Yes.
then we should convert it into a prompt.
You
Just
should be
like
able
we
to articulate your problem correctly,
and
properly.
give it in the form of a .md file.
Yeah, kind of that also. And also the prompts that we wrote inside the Gemini's prompt, no? That also you should word properly.
Yeah. Yeah, we have given something. So
Yes.
Then generally when we use this normal chatbot LLMs, we give some prompt.
Yes.
Say be polite, then it becomes a system prompt. Then again this
we are almost doing the same thing. When you are telling ChatGPT to be polite or to be precise or concise, it's also a kind of it's a prompt. It's not necessarily a meta prompt or a system prompt, but it's a prompt. It's guiding the behavior, how you want it to behave. Similarly, when you are guiding an agentic system, your prompts have to take care of all those basic considerations plus something extra, which we'll see right now, right? So when you are doing prompting, you have to follow certain principles, right? That's called principle prompt engineering or something like that, right? So these AI agents are often using a reasoning model. So you have to be mindful about how to prompt the reasoning models, how do they normally work, and which prompts will nudge them towards a more desirable behavior, right? These are reasoning models, not simple text generation or chat completion models. So here are the basic principles of prompting, which are applicable to general AI models, generative AI models. Like your prompts should be clear. You should specify as much as you, instead of writing generalized prompts, specify the problem, specify what you want, be clear, provide sufficient context, define your task properly, assign a role or a persona to a model. For example, if I'm asking ChatGPT to explain me something about quantum computing, I tell it that you are an expert in quantum computing, or you are the professor of Berkeley University in quantum computing. Now tell me this, explain this to me. Similarly, if I'm asking something about a medical issue, I'm telling it you are an expert in this disease. Now tell me something about this. So you are assigning a role. By assigning a role, all the training data, all the vector embeddings that are available during its training data, they are focused. It gets focused in a particular domain of those vectors, and the results it retrieves are more relevant, are more semantically relevant to your query. And then you specify the constraints. For example, you want the output in a CSV file or a JSON file, or you want it to respond in the style of Shakespeare or in the style of your great grandfather, so on, right? You should provide examples, which is called one-shot prompting or few-shot prompting. Examples help the model to understand what you want and what it should do for you. You should refine your prompts iteratively if you are not satisfied with the first output. And then you should frame your prompts in a positive manner. Like instead of asking what's wrong with this or why do I suffer like this, you should ask positive questions like how can I improve this code to reduce its computational complexity and all that. These are basic principles which apply regardless of whether you are working with agentic AI or a generative AI in general. Now, the prompt engineering for reasoning model is a little different because your prompts will guide the plan agent generates. It will guide the sequence of actions that your agent will take. So you have to be very careful while designing these prompts. Here's an example for an AI agent's prompt and a generative AI LLM's prompt. Let's first look at the prompt for just a text generator. Write a professional email inviting a colleague to a meeting. Use a formal tone and include a clear agenda in my email. This is a prompt. It's a clear prompt. It's a specific prompt. It's to the point prompt. It's providing the context. This prompt follows all the principles of good prompt engineering, and it is a prompt for text generator, an LLM. Now, here is the prompt for an AI agent. It is telling you are an autonomous assistant managing my schedule. So I have told it what is its role, what is its persona. Check my calendar, which means it has to call Google Calendar API and see if there is a conflict. This is tool call, this is data analysis. Suggest. Suggest means generate an optimal meeting time and send an email. Again, this is an action. It has to invoke the email API to send an email. to confirm. If the calendar API fails, which means if the tool call results in a failure, then do another action. Inform me about the failure and propose a manual workaround, right? So in this request that you have sent to an AI agent, you have specified its role, you have specified what actions it needs to take, you have specified the workarounds if the action fails, what it can do, right? It's a perfect prompt for an AI agentic system, right? It has the mention of role, persona, it's clear, it's specific, it specifies what tools it needs to use, what actions it needs to take, in what sequence it needs to take those actions, right? So there's a high probability that the result, success rate of this prompt will be pretty high. In general, when you are prompting agentic systems, it's more complex. It's action oriented. You can see in this prompt there are so many to dos: do this, do this, do this, do this, and it is multi-step. There are so many steps for the agent to perform, and often the environment is dynamic, which means when it's calling to send a mail, maybe Gmail is down, or when it's calling calendar API, maybe that API fails, the network is not there, right? So all of this is possible. So what are the principles of prompting for AI agents? The first principle is regarding use of tools. The tools that our agent developer defines should be defined using standard definition formats, XML format, JSON format, or Python files, Python functions. Whatever is the standard format, it should be used. And your tool definitions should be specific, clear, modular. They should be well documented. You should provide comments and everything. If there are any constraints regarding the formats and outputs and everything, you should be clear in specifying those format constraints and everything. This is an example of a system prompt of a client. Client is again a coding agent, just like Google CLI. So here is what has been written to client, a client by the developers. Regarding tool use, you have access to a set of tools that are executed upon user's approval. You can use one tool per message, and you will receive the result of the tool use in user's response. You use tools step by step to accomplish a given task, with each tool use informed by the result of previous. It means it shouldn't try to call multiple tools at the same point. It should serialize that tool call, execute one method. If it fails, then go ahead and execute another one. Maybe inform the user about the feedback of the previous tool call. And how is tool use formatted? The tool use is formatted using XML style tags. Here is a tool. Tool means a function. So what we have defined, this is XML, right? There are tags, and within the tags, there are values. This is tool name, tool one. This is end of tool one. Here is the parameter one for the tool. Here's the parameter two for the tool. End of that tag, end of that tag, and end of final tool, the tool tag. For example, here is a function to read a file. This is placed in a tag called read underscore file. Here is the path of the file that needs to be read, and here is closing of that tag. Always adhere to this format for tool use. So it is telling you, if you're defining tools, always define them using an XML format and specify name of the tool, maybe description, maybe the parameter list, and close all the tags for proper nesting. Second principle of prompting for AI agent is preferably call tools in a serial manner. Do not go for parallel execution. This is important because it helps you to solve the errors quickly and not propagate them endlessly. The third principle is create a comprehensive set of tools. Let every tool be modular. One tool, complete definition, followed by another tool, complete definition, and enough number of tools which may be required by the agent to complete its task. This is an example. Tool description for multiple tools in client's system prompt. The first tool here is execute command. Here, there's a description, request to execute a command line interface command on the system. This is like executing commands mkdir, cd, etc. on the command prompt of Windows. Use this when you need to perform system operations or run specific commands. Here is how it is defined, right? In the XML tag, execute command, then the command it needs to execute, close the tag, whether this command needs admin approval, yes or no, and close the command. Similarly, there is another tool, another function that it can call replace file. Here is how it is defined. Name of the function, path of the function that you can replace the content in, and difference, the difference between previous content of the file and new content of the file in the file system blocks. End of that. This is how the description of tools should be modular. One tool completed, then another tool, then another tool, and just the enough required number of tools, not extra, not less. This is the fourth principle of prompting AI agent systems. Your agent, AI agent, is often in one of the two modes. It's either planning what to do or it's carrying out that plan. So when it's in the plan mode, it's often gathering context. Ask, your prompt should help it gather the correct context at that in that mode. And when it is acting, you should your prompt should help it choose the right next tool, and then connect those tools appropriately together in order to achieve the final outcome. This is an example again from client's system prompt, where it's mentioned that you have two modes, act mode and plan mode. In the act mode, you should do this, this, this. In the plan mode, you should do this, 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 right? So this explicit prompting helps the agent identify what it should not do while it's planning and what it should not do while it's acting. Yes. Yes. Is there a question? The fifth principle for prompting AI agents is to optimize the context and the environment. Of course, we spoke about context management because context window often is a luxury. It is a very small token space. You should always aim at filling it with just the right information that enables the agent to take next step correctly. This is an example of providing the environment for an app, for example. So you should specify which operating system this app is going to work on, which shell it is going to run from, which is going to be the home directory, which is going to be the current working directory, which programming stack should be used, and all of that. So you are specifying the environment. This is especially true about coding agents. The next principle for prompting AI agents is to use robust guidelines for file handling, because handling files or any resources on your local machine is kind of a security risk. So you should be very careful about what you allow an agent to do or what you don't allow an agent to do. That is what it means. You give robust guidelines regarding how the files should be handled on your local machine. Right here it is telling to write to a file. What does it mean to write to a file, and what does it mean replace? In writing, you may create a new file or overwrite the contents, and in replacing, you may just replace or append or prepend to the existing file. Next principle is to prioritize safety, clarity, and minimize any kind of risks that may arise because of a reckless execution or calling a tool which should not be called. For example, I call a tool which deletes some rows from a database, right? And I lose that data forever. The agent should not have done that in the first place, right? So we are asking it in the prompt, before using execute command tool, you must think about the system information context provided to understand user's environment and tailor your command to ensure that they are compatible with the system, and so on. We are trying to minimize the chances of any untoward incident happening because of an agent's action. So this is a summary. Provide task-specific instructions, manage your context window, give action-oriented prompts, take care of error handling, write your prompt such that the chances of errors occurring is less, and when the errors do occur, your agent is able to reflect and refine and start all over again. Here are some best practices for designing agent-computer interface, the way agent interacts with your computer. Give it clear tool definitions and specifications. Let the model think for enough amount of time. Let it spend enough tokens before acting. Let it generate a good enough plan. Use standard formats for tool definitions. Do not ask your model for unnecessary cumbersome tasks. For example, in your coding agent, do not ask it to count the number of lines of code it has generated, or do not ask it to put a escape sequence in front of the code it has generated. That is unnecessary often, and it unnecessarily consumes the tokens of the agent. And final thing is, have empathy for your model. You spend effort in creating a good set of prompts. Make it meaningful. In your tool definitions, use parameter names, use function names which are meaningful. Then test how your model is using tools. If it is failing, then maybe you should go ahead and improve your tool definitions and design for clarity. Choose the arguments, choose the names, everything such that they are obvious, their meaning is clear. If it's clear to you, there are high chances that it will be clear to the AI agent also. There's another quiz. Would you kindly join the quiz? Which of the following best practices best describes the difference between general prompting and prompting for agentic systems? Can you see the quiz shared with you? What is the key difference between general prompting and agentic prompting? You can join this quiz by either scanning the QR code or going to slido.com and entering the number which is displayed on your screen on the left-hand side. Since we are already touching 7 p.m., I propose that you share questions, if any, to my DM, and I will answer them before end of the day today. Is there a question? Is there anything?
Yeah, ma'am. So I just got this link only from the group. So do you have any group for this or anything detailed?
There's a group for participants of this bootcamp.
Can you share me that or someone can share?
Sure. Can you, do you have my number?
No, I don't have. I just got this link on some WhatsApp group and I just joined yesterday and today.
Ma'am, send me a message on this number. Send me a hi on this number. And I will
Which
add you to
okay.
that group. Right?
Okay.
So it's 7:01. I will have to leave now, but definitely if there are any questions, please send them to me through DM and I will respond to every one of your questions before end of the day today. So the correct answer for this is that prompts to generative models often focus on just content generation, while prompts for agentic systems often involve specifying tasks, goals, or tools to use. Around 97% of participants have correctly answered it. That's great. I had planned to cover working of AI agents also today, but it seems like we should postpone it tomorrow. So thank you everyone for joining me in today's session. I'll see you all tomorrow. Tomorrow we will be working on model context protocol, which helps us to optimize the context window of an agent further. It helps us to connect with the resources in a standardized way. And then we will build an AI agent hands-on using Python code. I would require you to have Python installed along with PyTorch, Keras, and a few other libraries, which I will share. Thank you very much. And
Can we use Google Colab?
Google Colab will not work, ma'am. It will be better if you use a local system because I will be using Olama model as the brain of my agent.
Madam,
It may
is there any
work, but
WhatsApp group?
Yeah, there's a WhatsApp group. If you're not there, actually there were 470 participants registered. I've sent through mail them the information regarding WhatsApp group and everything, but I guess a lot of them have not joined the group. You can put your hi to me on the number I've provided in the chat window, and I will add you to the group.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. So we can leave, madam.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for attending this today. I
Thank
will
you.
see you tomorrow.